check this out. So the windscreen's frozen solid, but look, you can still see perfectly through there. Night vision camera and reversing camera. Gas struts to hold these guys up. Doing some paint work and finishing the single bed off. And a lot more painting, finishing touches and wiring to do in this video. This is the Lanmodo Vast M1 full colour night vision drive cam and reverse camera. Let's see how good it is. You see that spot just there? I want to reverse park into that spot using both the reverse camera and the drive camera. I have to be careful. Over there is a ship canal. If I go too far forward, I'm going in the drink. If I reverse too fast, I'm going to be hitting those posts there. So let's have a go, shall we? Let's put you just there and we'll drive forward. I can't go too far forward, remember, because I don't want to go in the drink. You can see the quality of it real well. Right, so flick it into reverse. Boof, there's the reverse camera. And let's have a little look at where I'm going. You can see we've got the curb down here. We've got the railings over there. It really is high quality footage. I don't want to go too far back because of those railings just there. And boof, a little bit more. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Now let's get out and show you how close we actually come. Now obviously when you're installing it, which we'll go through in a minute, you'll be able to set that up however you want yourself. It's chucking it down. Look at that. Absolutely perfect. You see, with this, the reverse camera has never worked. The company that sold me the van said they'd get it sorted. They found out what such a big job it would be to actually get it sorted, and they've just gone quiet. They've not bothered dealing with it. So do you know what? I'm going to deal with it with something better than that. Like everything, a lot of research was needed. The more research I'd done, the more little gadgets involved in these systems that I actually wanted. Introducing the Lanmodo night vision camera system with reversing camera. We've got all of this stuff here to try and figure out how to fit up in here. Just keep in mind, this isn't paid promotion, but they have sent it me to review for them. So the review you're going to get is completely honest. We've got a cool little reverse camera, full colour, 1080p. I don't need 4K when it becomes down to reversing sensors and the screen just there. It's a dash cam that fully records forward and backwards. It's got a G sensor built into it, so if you get a knock while you're in a car park, it's automatically going to lock that footage and not record over it. We've got an 8-inch screen with 3 different methods of actually securing it. What are they? We've got this plate. This sits on a flat piece of dashboard. It will sit on there just nicely, just like on the box. We have got the suction cup, which is the one I'm going to use to suction it straight up to the top of the windscreen, because as you can tell, I've not got a rear view mirror. But then we also have all these fittings here for if you do have a rear view mirror, you can fasten it straight to that. In the box, before we start stripping out all the old wiring, which I've already started over there, you can see all the big mess down there, we have got all the fitting kit. So we've got warning, we've got a big instruction manual with everything you need to know in there. You've got 2 ways of power in this, actually 3 ways of power in this. You've got your normal in-car cigarette lighter power that goes into the screen. You can even plug it into the OSD port. Is it OSD, OSB, whatever port, into the actual car, that'll power it. Or on the actual wiring loom yourself, you've got reverse light positive. You can connect it to the reverse light, so when you put it into reverse, it will naturally just flick over to the rear view camera and you can get your rear view. We've got another 3M sticky pad bracket there to hold up the dash cam, which is the front camera. 5 megapixel camera, Sony sensor built into it, which allows it to do its night vision capabilities. The 8-inch display itself, micro SD card reader, which is an additional extra, the SD card, which is an additional extra, along with the reverse camera, which is also an additional extra. What makes this a bit more fun, we've got all the random different colours of wires and cables. I'm colourblind. Let's see if this kit really is dummy proof. It just looks like it's a plug and play kind of system. Whilst removing the old cables and the old system, we've followed it up and it goes all the way along here. And if I remember rightly, it goes under this top board here. So we get that top board off and reevaluate. Reevaluate is basically my way of saying try and figure out how to do it. There we go. Those cables just there, they run the full length all the way to the back. Underneath the sensor, up these holes here, there's 2 T25 bolts, and then in theory, that should all just come off. now we can get to the wiring and disconnect the camera from the actual brake light. With all that wiring removed, it was time to try and find a reverse light positive so that when you put it into reverse, the reverse camera actually comes on. Now, part of the wiring, we had this one red cable coming out of the wiring loom and down. We think it's just been spliced. And I wondered, is that the reverse light positive that I need? I haven't got a multimeter. I haven't got any way of checking to see whether that is reverse light positive. When I put it into reverse, power starts going through there. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to set it all up just on the bench and put it into reverse to see if it works. And it did. So we connected absolutely everything together. The forward camera, the reverse camera, the screen, and then powered it with the 12-volt connector in the cigarette lighter, connected the reverse light positive to that, whacked it in reverse, boom, it worked. So that's that bit done. Now we can start fixing things to the various locations to get it fitted properly. We got the screen, attached it with the suction cup straight onto the windscreen. For now, it's just going to be there because while I'm driving along, it's not too intrusive. It's just like a rear view mirror. I'm so surprised. I can't wait to show you guys how good the night vision capabilities are on this. This is the front camera with a 3M sticky pad, and you get a lot of wires with this. So basically, you can put it straight in the middle there and run the cables along, up the A-pillar, across the top, through all this, and then out the top straight into the screen. It's quite easy to thread cables and hide them underneath behind the headlining. You obviously, once it's all put in and tested, you can go around and like touch up everywhere and put everything back to how it should be, but it's getting there slowly. It's just plug and play. You find the right adapter to go in the right socket, and boom, it works. I found if you get an Allen key or an Allen wrench, torque wrench, whatever, you can slot it up underneath the headlining and run it across, and it just helps post the cables up there nicely. I've ran the reverse cable through the headlining, up the pillar, comes out there, and I've basically just wrapped it around the same wiring loom that runs all the way to the back of the van, down to the back lights. With this kit, I had a concern that maybe I won't have enough cable to run from the front of the van to the back of the van for the rear view camera. But I've got all the way to the back doors and I've still got loads left over. So I'm gonna have to try and hide and tuck some down there or something like that. And then I've got to run the reverse light positive all the way back to the front where that connection is. I'm well chuffed with this kit, it's so easy. Let's go and try and figure out the reverse camera placement. We've got those brackets there. Now obviously it points down, but we have to make it in such a way where it doesn't hit the back doors when the back doors open. With the reverse camera fitted up there and sticker flexed up nicely just to help protect it, all we've got to do is connect the cables, connect and heat shrink the reverse light positive, hide all the cables away. We've got the power cable going into the head unit, up to the top. We're obviously going to tuck all the cables up the top. It's come down the B pillar, underneath the glove box, and just into the cigarette lighter. We were going to use the USB, but it's just not accessible for the actual plug. The cable comes off the side of the plugs, whereas our OBD port is quite deep in sort of thing, so we can't really use that, which is a shame really, but we'll use it this way instead. Let's give it a little try. I'm just overly tempted. I've not even finished hiding all the cables or putting the cowls back on or anything, but let's try. So far it's on absolutely magical. That is a 75-degree angle that you can see with a 984 foot it can see forward. With the ignition lights on, in theory this should work. Into reverse, boof, reverse camera. Wow, let me tell you and see the Danielle's face when I tell her this. Can you see the reverse camera? Sat just there, lovely as anything. Yeah, I've put it on upside down. Yeah, the reverse camera's upside down. I have a feeling I could just go into the settings and change it over, but so far the reverse camera's upside down. No, here you go, I'll show you. I'll put it into reverse, it flicks over to the camera and it's upside down. We'll turn the ignition on and we'll see if we go into reverse, boof, it's the right way round. I knew there'd be a settings there somewhere. I just had to go through the instruction booklet again and just have a little play. But it's great, those settings, you can change everything on. So you go onto the settings on the top, you got everything you want on there. You can change the video audio, the video recording, audio recording, recording time, brightness, G sensitivity, loads of stuff on there. Because again, this has a G sensor built into it, so when I'm parked up at night, I can leave the whole thing running, just turn the screen off to save some power reduction, and it will keep recording up to 24 hours on just the front camera, 14 hours on the back camera, and it'll just loop record over it. As soon as there's an incident, the G sensor spots something trying to break in, someone hitting it in a car park or anything like that, it will automatically record that piece and log it, save it, so that it's secure. It will not record over that one thing. You go through the menu, find out which one it is, boom, done. You get anything on there once a week, just have a flick, or if you see something wrong with your van, have a flick. I have got external CCTV on the van now. When it goes dark a bit later, we'll take it for a little drive and show you the night vision part of this, because it has full night vision, full colour night vision on it. It's got an anti-glare on it, because where most of these actually fail is where a car's coming towards you at night time with the headlights on. It just glares that out, sends it bright white so that you can't see anything. Well, this one doesn't do that. It changes and adjusts while you're driving, depending on the brightness that you're at. You're driving along the nice dark motorway, it's going to be pitch black, but that will see it in full colour. And then as soon as you get to a part of the motorway where it's all lit up, or you're in a town centre or anything, it will adjust it accordingly. It's quite a clever piece of kit. There we go, fully back to normal. Look, there it is. And you can see the car, as it goes past, it goes past. There's no time delay. It's not interfering with my view. It's just a nice, tidy bit of kit. I am over the moon with this. While I'm parked, I can turn the screen off and it's still going to record. That's the Lanmodo Automotive Night Vision camera. We went for the Vast M1. I'll leave them linked in the description. Really good bit of kit. Now on to the overhead storage. We have one, got gas struts to go in the cupboards to keep the doors open, but two, we've got a bigger gap here than we have there. So I've basically got to undo all the hinges off that one and just rejiggle them to get the gap looking exactly the same as that one. Now that's definitely a lot better. Now we come over to the gas struts. We've gone for the 120 newtons. That's how much power they've actually got, and they are quite strong, to be fair. It come with a couple of these bits. They're just ball joints to go into the ends over there, and the screws. £4 for two on eBay. I could only buy them in packs of two, so I've got 4. I only need 3. The plan is quite simple. We're going to leave it open as high as we want it to go, mark out where we want the gas strut to actually go, and then when we close it, it's going to shrink down to the size it wants. Then when we pop it open out of these latches just here and these ball joints just here, then in theory it should be a lot easier to open, and hopefully they stay open. I've already done one good thing today. Who thinks I will actually fail at the second good thing? I don't get good luck twice. Well, the gas struts, it didn't work. They're a little bit too strong. Well, a lot too strong for what I actually thought. 120 newtons. I didn't know what it was, but now I know it's too much. I'll have to get some weaker ones to do them, I think. They were pulling the hinges off the top. How many of you guys, as soon as I said they were 120 newtons, thought, that's way too much? Now we know. I'm going to move on and try and fit a chest of drawers into the actual back panel between the seats. Like we've said the whole way through, this is a budget build to start with. We are doing a better build after this, but this one's a budget build. This is part of the budget. We've marked it up. We're going to go drill straight through the corners and go on the other side and cut it out. Then in theory, it should sit on this lip here. We screwed it in from the back, sanded down the edges, just needs a trim piece, but there we go. We have got that. Obviously we need to stick a trim piece around it. We need to DC fix them to match all the other woodwork that's going to be in the van. But look at that. You may ask, how are they going to stop opening while we're driving down the road? That's where these come into play. Just that, they click together. When the draw's shut, both done. A bit like that. Perfect. Here we go, it's dark outside and it looks like daylight on there. How cool is that? Let's go for a little drive and have a play. So we've come to a dark little car park and there's literally virtually no light. I'm going to turn my headlights off and then look at the quality of that. You can see, just look, and I've got no lights on, none at all. And look at the quality of what you can see. They say 984 meters forward, and that's with no headlights on. Let's turn the actual headlights on and whoosh, look at that. That's a now go full beam. That's full beam. Look at that. Just watch it as we move. The actual camera itself moves really nicely with it. Nice and smooth, nice and clear. There's no need to worry, we are on an empty private land car park. How cool is that? Let's try the reverse camera. We'll put it into reverse. It should, look at that. How clear is that? Let's move. Wow. So look how clear that is. So now we just need to find some heavy rain and some adverse weather to test it out some other way. Can you do a rain dance for me? Yeah. Next morning, it's raining. Look in front of the camera. You can see all the raindrops in front of the camera. You can't even see out of it. Look at the Lanmodo. It's crystal clear still. Here's one I didn't expect. Check this out. So the windscreen's frozen solid, but look, you can still see perfectly through there. That's a quick trip to B&Q done, and a quick trip to Euro Car Parts. You know, one of those jobs where you want to get it done, you need to get it done, but you keep putting it off and you keep forgetting about it. I'm actually going to get it done. Or at least I've got the part that I need to get it done. Back of the van, we've made a little bit of a window ledge. Now, we've put some little holes in the top there, because that's where we're going to put the magnets. There's a few dotted around. And then when the blind comes down, boof, it's going to sit on there. That side's not done, ran out of wood. That side's not done, ran out of wood. But I did do this side and this side. But when I brought the blind down, because that side's sloped, it wasn't going down all the way. So I'm going to have to sort some sort of thinner bit of wood. This whole van just seems like trial and error. A trial and error van build. But I've made more use of my new electric sander. Who knew I'd get hooked on a sander? All the holes we've basically gone over. Basically any rough section we've just gone over and sanded down. We've masked off loads of the natural wood look, and down there we've masked off the drawer section too. That piece of wood, we've got a trim piece to go around there. I picked that up at B&Q this morning. Basically we're just going to go around and do another big coat of white now that everywhere's starting to come together. Doesn't feel like it's starting to come together, let me tell you that. My first bit was this little bit of varnish on the window ledge that I've done. I'm hoping it matches this little piece of varnish on the overhead and kind of matches the overhead storage. I don't know, it's something I'm playing with. I can always strip it back and go white or black with that. It's just sort of an experimentation. She keeps banging on at me about using one of these paint pads to paint instead of a brush. Don't tell her. This is another one of those situations where she's right and I'm not going to admit that Danielle's right. Paint pad, they're actually really good at giving good coverage. While all that's drying, I'm going to attempt to fit a wiper blade. Turn the ignition lights on, flick that, and whee, it's done. I'm doing a lot of things in this video. It's amazing what you can get done when paint's drying. I even got a coat on the back doors. Now we've got the trim pieces for the piece around the actual thing. It goes around. Now I've not cut the top piece because I want to get the upright in there, and then do all the measurements and stuff like that. But that's it. It's just a thin piece of nice pine wood. I've shaped it, sanded it, and got the angle perfect. It's going to be varnished in the same varnish that one's on the window ledge, the same varnish that's underneath there, and it's all just going to match up eventually. I'm not going to put it on just yet because I still want to give that another coat or two, I don't know. As soon as I'm happy with the finish on that, then I'll stop giving it coats. For these trim pieces, I'm going to put the side pieces on first, and then just some no nails, nothing special. I've got an hour to kill. I'm down doing my laundry. This will work perfect. I've pulled the drawers out slightly so I can just butt straight up against it, and then I know that it's going to be level. But once I've put the side pieces on, I can then get the perfect measurement for the top piece. In theory, that should be the right measurement. Hey, that's not too shabby. That's come out better than I expected it to. Where these cameras normally fail is on snow days. Let's give it a little try. What happens is, because it's white everywhere else, it just glares out everything. Do you know, just like some headlights coming towards you in the middle of the night? Well, that's what this does normally. Let's see if this is exactly the same. That is really good footage. Look at how clear that is. Like I say, the links to that is in the description down below. I'm massively chuffed with it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace out.